So, Yitzhak, the floor is yours.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, everybody, to Power BI Machine Learning and OpenAI, the Fast Track and the Complete Guide by David Yitzhak. About myself, very fast. I'm BSc Information System, 2 second degrees, specialist in SQL Server, Oracle, Sybase, Postgres, presented all over the world. You can see now. By the way, I broke several world records. So what we will talk, this is a full demo session, talking about Power BI Machine Learning and OpenAI, the fast track. We have a demo director which called Power BI Machine Learning and OpenAI, the fast track and complete demo. The content of this file is the PPTX file, the PBIX file, NWS director, which is FL Whitestrack report data. And for each part, there is the appropriate Power BI report. I will use the final now because I don't want to change all the time. So assumption, I will not use any Power BI compiler data flow which require premium license. Why? Because I'm from the academy. My specialist is in AI in the second degrees, and I want to show you the bottom, the real understanding of how to handle the data. So first section talk about requirement, data model, load, and explore. Okay. Second section talk about prepare data with Power Query. Three section talk about build semantic model. Fourth section tell you how to find feature with R, Python, and Power BI Visual feature for the mail service. So, two world records, mostly 24 and 22. You can see it here. This is here. And you can see a lot of lecture all over the world. You can see it here. Power BI Machine Learning. By the way, the lecture is changing all the time. All the time it's changing. It's not the same. This lecture have been given in Germany, in Australia, and now this is new edition because all the time I learn new things. So you can see it here. You can see a lot of lecture, OpenAI, ChatGPT, and GPT for Power BI Desktop, Self-AI, NLP, R, Python, etc. SQL Server 2120 containers, a lot of lecture. By the way, next week I'm in Ireland, session talking about how to extend Power BI with R and Python, this new edition. So this is about myself. Okay, let's start very fast. So so we talk about the agenda. So first we have to install Power BI Desktop. By the way, you can install Power BI Desktop for Power BI service on the cloud, or you can install Power BI Desktop optimized for Power BI report server. After you install Power BI server, you can see the screen here. You can see this in here. We will go to our site. Which site is our? You can see it down. Just a minute. Just a minute. So, okay. We will go to the site. You can see the site, FAI Whitestrack database. This database contains all the strikes between airplanes and birds in the air. So if you're going to the site, which is government site in USA, you can search the database for any accident, but you can download Excel and Access files. If you go here in the demo, you will see that we have public access CCB, which record all the accident, and README Excel XLS, which describe the fields in public accessibility. So after I download this, you can see it here. you will upload from import data in Power BI, the access file. You can see it here. We're not doing it because we don't have too much time. And then I will upload the strike reports. Strike reports is Excel file which describe the fields in access files. You can see it here. And I have to do transform data. So if I'm going here, you can see it here. This is the raw data. I open group which no raw data. In the raw data, you can see the strike reports which come from the access file. You can see it here. You can see the fields of from the Excel file, which describe the fields in the strike report. You can see the fields here. So if you go here, I want to show you, this is the README XLS. You can see we have column name and descriptions, engine code. You have also dimension tables of engine codes. You can see that it's not well arranged. Some of the type are null or did not was fulfilled. You have aircraft type, you can see it here, engine position, etc. So after I upload it to our Excel, if you go to transform data, okay, for example, for strike report, you can see, if you go to transform data, you can see immediately the distribution of the data. This is what you do. This is what you should do as a data engineer. So you can see the fields here. So very, very quick. If you sign this field, you can see distribution of the data. So you can see that index and R, which is the field. Now I'm testing my data before I want to build my ML model. So if you go to index and R, you see that there is no empty values, and other error in the statistics. You can see it here. Also, if you go to time of the day, you can see that we have 5 distinct values and about 1-2% which is black. So it cannot be the date table. Okay, you can see the distributions. So what is the column categories in the access files which come from the FFA wide strike reports? You can see it here. This is the strike report. This comes from the access file. We upload it. We have date and time fields. We have event which describe the age, latitude, longitude, where it happened. The aircraft, ownership, aircraft type, manufacturer number. We have estimate of the damage due to the strikes. What of the strike report by aircraft, which is specified the size. So this is the fields. You can see it here. You can see that each field is described in the Excel. So this is the raw material data. Okay. So of course, we connect to README XLS. We import the XLS. You can see it here. I've done it already. And you can see I took aircraft type, engine code, engine position. And if you go here, again to do all that, you can see engine code, engine position, engine type. Okay. So you go here and you go here. So after we transform the data, we can go here and do close and apply, of course, here. And what is the goal of the project? So we download material from aircraft worldwide report. We have raw data. You're a data engineer. You want to use any external tools, and you want to analyze the data. So you have to have a basic understanding in machine learning and models and how to shape your data. So you want to do analytic reports, which show the trends over the time, number of incidents, location of incidents, where it happened, details such type or aircraft and other species. We want to predict the damage. So whether the damage cause any cost. We want to predict the size and the age. So this is the parameter we want to predict using this data. So when you want to build data model for machine learning, usually we use star schema. Star schema, you know it, fake table dimension, provide the most efficient storage and query performance for business intelligence. So logically, our table is as follows with the strike reports. Okay, you can see it here. The strike report here we have uploaded. This is a strike report, all the data, the raw data. Some things are missing, some things are empty, some will fulfill only, okay? And the dimensions are engine code, okay, which form with Excel, aircraft type, engine position. So if you go here, you can see engine code, you can see it here. This is data, you can see it here. Engine position, whether the engine is up, down, and you can see that it's not well arranged. You can see it here. And aircraft type, whether it's airplane, helicopter, glider, etc., etc., etc. So when we are looking at data model, this is our data model. So if you go here, of course, it's the final data model. You can see this is the final data model, but if you upload it from the first section, you will see the date table, aircraft type table, strike report fact, engine code, and engine position. The date dimension will create, I'll show you how to create, but this is the table we will see, you can see it here. Okay, aircraft type, engine code, engine position from the Excel, a strike report from the Access files. So how do you, so you have to put it into your head. There are three basic approaches that you can use with Power BI and machine learning. Flatten. You can use flatten file here. Okay, by joining all the tables. So engine, aircraft, engine code, aircraft type, engine position, strike report. One file. Okay. Star schema. You can build your schema with strike reports. This as the fact table and build dimensions with engine code, engine type, engine position, and add the dimensions. You can do every design. We will use every design because we want to build a design which we use both to flatten and star schema. So how do you do? So if you look at flatten the data type, so we take all the table and make one big table. Blah, 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 pro and cons, pro, simplicity, no join, blah, blah, blah. Cons, insufficient storage uses, if it's a lot of data. Limitation for queries because we have one file, it's not according to 1 second and 3 normal form, less flexibility and complex, so we store it. Okay, star schema. So this is star schema. We do it for years. So this is the aircraft stack reports. This is star schema. So this engine code and position type. Later we will add another dimension table location species. So pro and cons, blah 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 blah. So pro table often up with business logic all the time. Both minimal balance of minimal data application and efficient queries. But the cons. Machine learning models are usually trained with flat table of data. They work good with flat table. So we have to go to the hybrid design. So hybrid design means that if you look at the hybrid design here, okay, if you go to strike report, you can see that a strike report have description fields. We describe the accident. So you can see it here. Okay, you see strike reports, remarks, and comments. So in our design, because we are talking not about a big storage, and these fields are not so big, we will leave these strike reports and comments in the fact table, which will be strike reports. So this is the hybrid design. And you can see it here. And our dimensional table will be aircraft type, engine code, engine position. But we forget the date table. So we have to look for something to be the dimension of the date table. So what is inside the way you should understand? What's the cons? Of course, it's less performance as schema. You have additional logic in hybrid design, but still you have to need to flatten data, but not perfect for either ML or MI. But it's a combination between ML and star schema. Okay, so we have other data that are useful for our solution because we are talking about accident in the air. So we have blah, 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 blah. We have date-based table of the aggregation, months, quarter, season, time-based table aggregation, hour, AM, date for the flight that didn't have Wi-Fi strike, because flight we didn't have flight strike are not documented. Weather, data about Wi-Fi species. So, but some of them are easy to get and some of them are difficult. Okay, so this is the other external source you can use. Okay, so we want to find the candidate for our dimension table. So if you look at the time column, okay, we go here, you can see time column, you see that there are no errors. There are no, it's not good candidate. Why? Because we have a error, but there are empty values. So it's not good for the dimension table. So we have to search. You can see it here. Okay. So, by the way, if you're looking at the new version of or if you're looking at a new version of Power Query, it can create you DAX query. So if you go here, for example, and go to the struct reports, fact, and you go to time. We go to SSS, time of the day, right click, it can tell you quick queries, show column statistics, and you can run it. Okay, it's new. So it's very nice because it's very handy because you get the distribution of the data and you will create here the query in DAX. So here is it. And we can see that time report, these fields is not good candidate for the to be the date table. Why? Again, I told you, because there are a lot of empty values. So let's go search. And you can see the statistics. And voila, we find another table, which is incident date. So incident date is good candidate. Why? Because we have 200% valid values, error 0, empty 0. Again, I can go here and do that query. So this will be our date dimension table. This will be the date column in fact table, containing all the accident of the fly, okay, which will be connected to dimension table of the day. Okay, so you can see it here, the date table. So how do I create the date table? Okay. So we'll talk about it, but consideration for image. So, so we want to slice by date, week, months, etc., etc., etc. So if you are looking at this here, we can see the raw data, which it will be not uploaded. We see not upload to the Power BI service where you're working with Power BI service, and we'll create this stage of data, which is analytic data, which is not. From this, we'll create the Power BI data set for the ML service or Power BI OR, and ML training data. Okay, so Power BI ML offers 2 different types: binary prediction, yes or no; general classification, so the outcome can be A, B, C, D, or D. Regression, the regression tells us predict the numeric value. Let's see the example. So we want to do an analytic report, predict the damage, predict the damage. So analytic report, predict damage. The damage will result. Binary prediction, yes or no. Predict the size of the struct. So it's based upon, you know, location, A, time of the year, and airport location. Output will be large, medium, and small. Classification model. This is the classification model. Predict the size of the damage. Predict A. So this will predict the age of the white struct. And here we will use a regression model. So again, remember that before you're talking with Copilot AI, Copilot Studio, you have to do this stage because you have to do clean and your data, test and iterate, educate user. You have to go one feature, you've been find those binaries. So you have a lot of tools in Microsoft, but before you're using it, you should prepare your data. And this Copilot will not do. Okay, if you use Copilot too much, I think, okay, you will need to be out of the work because your head will be shrinking. So you have to know your data before you are giving to external tool. So this is you must do. So prepare data with Power Query. So this is second phase, part 2. You have here, okay. So let's run out first. So you upload the Power BI against, and now we'll do the analytic data, which is not cache. Okay. So first we'll group data. So what is group data? You can see it here. I right click here. Okay. Right click here. Okay. And create new group. I will not do it because I do it. And from the group here, okay, I will make a call group created reporting queries. You can see it here. This is the new group. And here, I will do a reference to the raw data. So if you go here, you can see you can do a reference. And then move the reference to created through reporting queries. So again, here the raw data. This is reference to the raw data. This will be now uploaded, but this data I will be end. This is the raw data I will not touch, and this data I will touch. So very, very fast. I will show you. You can see it here. So you create a raw data, put all what I have uploaded, okay? And you disable in the load. Why? Because raw data will not upload to Power BI service. Okay. This is the raw data. Blah, 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 running very fast. And you can see all the Slack report aircraft type in code. Okay. And now I want to, and now what I will do, I evaluate the date and time column in the Slack report table because it's missing. Okay. Evaluate geographical and location column in Slack report table. Evaluate aircraft and operators description in Slack report. Evaluate species enablement columns. Evaluate weather, flight details, and damage in Slack report. Again, Copilot will not do it. You have to do it yourself. So I have to review the tables, but I will not tire you. I can show you that aircraft type table, there is aircraft code, which is unique in this table. And this match to values AC class in Slack report. So if you go here, Slack report, you have AC class. You can see the aircraft code. It's connected to AC class. So again, you have to know your data. You have to know the connection between the fields. The Copilot will not do it. Again, this is the raw data. So you can see it here. So aircraft type table, okay. Engine code use both manufacturer code and model code. Okay. Engine code use both manufacturer and model code. And they are unique. Both are unique. They are mapped to the field AMA and AMO column in Slack reports. You can see it here. You can see it here, the connections. Engine position column. It's very, if you look at the engine position, okay, you have the engine position here, where the position, where is that located? But if you go to Slack report, you can see that you have 4 columns of engine positions. So if you go here, you see that engine 1 post, engine 2 post, engine 3 post, engine 4 post are all foreign key to engine positions table. Okay, day table. So you see that you do not have raw data in day table, but in Slack report, you have the column, you have to create your raw data in the table. So now, as data engineer, I have to pass on each column in here. This is the raw data here. Quoted reporting code, which is reference to the real data, and check column name, the name of the column, initial data type. Maybe I can change it. Note, keep, maybe to keep or to move this column. New data type, key, is this foreign key column, reporting name, use friendly name. So this is a table you have to create and to pass on each. So for example, this is the date, which is daytime, which is note, you get the note, keep yes, new data type date, key, yeah, it is the key to the date dimension table. And if you go here, you go to Slack report, you can see that here. You can see it here. You can see this table, and you can decide what to do with this column. So I will not tire you, but you have to go of each column and decide what to do with the column. So this is the full description. Okay, we'll pass over it, but this is you have to do again before you're going to Copilot, etc., because it will not do it. Okay. By the way, so now I will build a primary Slack report table and create report. So here this is the quoted report here. You can see it here, reporting queries. Okay. I will do a reference to the raw data. I will keep only the column I want, and I will change the column name, not the raw data, and tutor report. So you can see that I create the quote report queries, make a reference from the raw data of Strike report aircraft, etc., and bring in here, and then make all the table changes. I show you, including keep all the columns that I need, and I will get rid of unnecessary columns Strike reports. Very, very, and data changing Strike report data. You can see here. This is thing that you should do as Power BI specialist and data engineer before going to any. And you can change the column name for clarity. For example, incident date may be changed to incident date. In duty report, this you are doing it here. Okay. And we are in phase 2. But we are missing something. We are missing the date column. So remember that, again, we are doing a reference and putting aircraft type, aircraft or aircraft position, and we'll make changes to this table. For example, aircraft type, because of the Excel, F null value in the raw data. You can see it here. Because of the Excel. You can see it here. But if you're going to aircraft type info, this aircraft type, what I did is to go and use first row as header, and you can see it here, and select nulls. And this way, I'm going to aircraft type info, which is a range. You can see it here. No null value. First column R, first row R column name. And run very, very fast. Position info. Again, unselect null, use the first row as header. Then you can see it here again. You can see it here. Agent position. You can see we have null. You cannot work with this. So we make a reference, agent position, and the first column, the first row become a column header, and you move the null. Running very fast. Okay. It's same for engine code info query. Use the first row as header. By the way, you use the option fill and down. Why? Okay. Why? Because in the Excel, if you go to the Excel, not all the fields are full fields. So if you go here, engine position, sorry, engine class, engine code, type. Maybe I miss it, but if you go here, you can see that I have to use the options of use first order and fill down all the fields, because the fields are empty, because in the Excel, it fulfill only the first row. So you can see it here. So if you look at the Excel, you can see that field was empty. If you use this awful of field, all this field will be fulfilled with 1010 Ellison, because the Excel will look like this. Okay. And we select null value. Okay. We want to build our table, date table. So first option is text CSV file, as you know, and upload it. But you can go to ChatGPT. I'm DBA, I don't know DAX, and tell him, prompt Access Spark Query Expert and maybe to write the following code. GPT for O. Sure, let me know. Prompt. And I will just give him the descriptions. I have to create the how to build the calendar. In my Power BI, I create a calendar starting of blah, blah, blah. No. Use following guideline. Add a black line. And if you are going to ChatGPT, it will give you the code to create it. And then if you are going to blank query, okay, you're going to blank query, upload the code which you have been given by ChatGPT, and voila, you have a date column table. So this is two options: use CSV file or use DAX query. So we finished our we finish our second part. Remove the unnecessary columns, clean up the column name, and formatting the query so that you can use it as a table of data. We built the layer of quoted report for your Power BI dataset and ML queries. The queries aren't yet ready to be used in dataset because they need a foreign key and primary key values for our BI dataset. So we build our semantic model. So if you go to the demo, part 3, again, show you the final result because I don't have too much. So I want to do a connection between the table. Okay, so we build a relation between the table. So date table, the date column, matches the incident column on strike report, aircraft type info, aircraft code, aircraft class code, aircraft code, aircraft type info, aircraft code column, matches aircraft class code on strike report. Engine code info, manufacturer model, and model code are compound keys matching AM and AMO in strike reports. Engine position info, engine code, are maps to 4 column strike report, engine position 1, 2, and 3. So how do you do it? So you can see the connection here. You can see after I've created. So you can see engine position 1, 2, 3 is connected to engine position. Incident is connected here. Manufacturer code and model code are connected here. Engine code is connected here. So manufacturer code and model code are connected to AMA and AMO fields. Aircraft code is connected. So again, I didn't yet create the connections. So how do I create the connections? Okay. How do I create the connections? If I go to incident date, I can see that we have 200 values. So what I do, I will create the connections. So I go to the model and create the collections, okay, and create the connections, okay. So, by the way, we have empty null while so here. Now, ML model does not know how to handle null value. So I have to replace all blank value in report aircraft class code because ML code design, refresh, and integrity is part of report. Because if you're using ML models, so design, we want to use refresh and integrity. So struct report aircraft class code is foreign key to aircraft type aircraft code, and it not work for blank and null values. So look at this technique. So what I have to do here is to go to struct reports. Okay. So the null value does not exist in the aircraft type info query. Okay. So an ML model needs a design that does not have null value. So we have to remove or replace all the blank value. So how do we do it? So if you go here, you can see here, I will create another table which create aircraft type edit info data with 2 values, blank, blank, null, null. You can see it here. After I did it, okay, I will go to, after I did it, right click on aircraft class code column and select replace value and replace all the null value to null with the word blank. So we will not have null value or empty value in struct report. You can see it here. Okay. And after I did it, I go to the aircraft. I go to DOM ribbon, and I will head to aircraft type, aircraft code, and aircraft classification. So it will be more clear if you go here. Yeah. You can see it here. This blank, blank, null, null is coming from this table, aircraft type edit data. Why again? ML model does not know how to handle null value or empty value. So I go to struct report, change all the null value to word blank, go to aircraft type info, okay? And what I did, I add this table to this. So this is one attachment I have to use with the ML model. You can see it here, okay? And aircraft type info after, you can see the black and black null null. Engine code info, same. You can see it here. So if you go to engine code info, a combination of manufacturer code and manual code result in a unique row definition. You can see it here. Okay. So engine code, manufacturer code, and model code in engine code info. This is unique row definition. So what I have to do, I go to engine code edit data, and I have to add a new row to engine code info table for unmatched values, which called incomplete and missing. So if you go here, you can see engine code edit data. You can see incomplete, 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 missing. This is the table I've created. And this table will be added to engine code edit engine code info. You can see it here. So if you go downstairs here, you can see this value. This value will be added to engine code info. Okay. Because, by the way, because because the engine code info query has a bucket for missing and incomplete queries, you can see it here. Now I have to add a primary key. So you go on the Power Query one and select add column general index column form one, and we'll rename this query to engine code info key. So if you go here, engine code info, you can see that we have created this engine code info key. And this is the key for the column we have created. You can see it here. This will be used for the foreign key. Okay. Run very fast. And now I have to do the connections. So I have to do the connections. So the table structure reports feed EMO, NMO matches up the compound key of engine code info, manufacturer or the model code. So if you look here, okay, you can see that there is no perfect matching between the table, because if you want to go to data model and want to do a match between the table, you see that EMO and AMO on structure reports is foreign key to manufacturer code and model code. We added the engine code and info key, but this is not a perfect match, but it's enough. So if we do this correction, we'll see that for such report, a new column will be added, which is engine code info. You can see it here. So if I go here, just a minute. So if you go here, you can see that we have built the connection between the models. So you can see that this is engine position dim. Okay. Engine position 1, 2, 4 is tracked to engine position here. Engine code dim, which is connected, we have created this connection. Day dim, which is connected to the date column in structure report, and aircraft time dim. Okay. So this how we build the semantic model. You have to know you have to know your semantic model. So okay. So if you go here, you can see the connections. For example, let's go for example here. You can see the connection. You can see, for example, structure report, aircraft class code. It's connected to just a minute. You can see the connection between the table. So you can see the aircraft class code and aircraft code is connected. So this is how we build a semantic model, and we have to know the connection between the tables. Remember that we didn't have any connection, we uploaded the data first. So let's go now to step 3. Step 3 means I have to build our data set, which is quite a data set table, and we will enable load, and it will be included in our report refresh. So how do you do it? Go very fast. Same way. this is our data set. Quoted the tables, okay. And we will enable load and include the report for keys, because this will be uploaded to Power BI service and will be in the ML and will be cooperating in ML service. Okay. So you can see it here, and you can see how we build the semantic model and the connection between the table, many one to many here. I don't pass about it because I have too much time, but you can see that select table, destination table, cardinality, cross filter direction, make this relation active. So you can see the stack report fact, aircraft code, is connection to aircraft type DIM, aircraft code, many to one connection, and cross filter direction, yes. And if you go here, you can see the declaration. So this is how we build the semantic model. See it here. And now we have to clean and up the metadata in just setting. Okay, so we have to hide unnecessary column, for example, foreign key or Sarga columns. It does summarization in that category, and it does setting for dating table. So if you go here for this table, you can see that we have passed all over the table, and we change the summarization, data category, format, and source settings. So we are talking about this. Here. This is the data will be uploaded to the Power BI service. So here we do all the changes. This is the reference to the data here, okay? And this is taken from the raw data. So this is the table which you have to load. For each column, tell us what is the table, column, data category, format, and sort key, etc., and update it. You can see it, you can change it here. And we'll run very, very fast. Now we'll have measure to our PI data set. So it's very simple. We'll use the measure of incident. Incident is count of stack report facts, average speed, average age, total cost repair, average cost repair, incident risk cost. So you can see the measures here. By the way, if you go to aircraft type DIM, okay. So stack reports, you can see the measure we have created, cost of repair. That's it here. Okay. You can see cost of repair adjusted. Okay. And here is the table which tells us how to create this. What is the DAX formula for this measure? So we designed a key value for the table in Power Data Set. We created Power BI Data Set and added measure to the Power BI Data Set. Now we have the basic foundation of analytic and building an analytic report. Now you can use of course Power BI AI to find your features, but R and Python come together. They are the most important language of the machine learning. You should know how to use them. Very simple. I'll show you how you can find features with R and Python. You don't have to pay extra money for the Azure AI. Inside Power BI. So what's the technical requirement? You have to install R on your local computer. By the way, you can install R, which is compatible with the Power BI service in the cloud, or if you're using on the Power BI desktop, you can install any version of R you want. Python the same. You can install Python, which is appropriate with Power BI service. So if you're using on the Power BI desktop, you can install any version you install. It's very simple. You download Python latest versions and install it. After you install it, you go to your Python and you're doing pip install. Pip install is install packages. So pip install Panda, pip install Table, pip install COVID, for example. And this is Panda, not Table. This is the package you need for your Power BI. Okay. If you are going to option setting in your Power BI setting, you will tell him what is the directive of your Python, which ID you want. I'm working with RStudio because it's very convenient in working with R and Python. Okay, you can see it here. And you tell him which version of R you want to work and which ID you want to work. I like RStudio. Why? Because it's very simple. It supports both R and Python. So blah, 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 blah. How do you explore our visuals? This you should know. Why? This tell you, this is the basic knowledge. In general, two variables are associated if the values of one or someone related to value of other. So there is correlation between numeric value. Why? Because we have a lot of features, parameters which come as input to the model, and we want to find which features, which parameters have effect on the accident, and which feature we want to upload to the mission, to the mail service. So, so we have positive direction between two variables, negative directions, by the way, non-defined association, and non-defined increasing decreasing. You can see it here. So you have linear and curved linear shape of association between variables. You have strong association like here and weak association. So you should know it. So how do you do it in R? It's very, very simple because you have the copilot function in R. So very, very fast. Suppose your data is like this, C1, 2, 3, 4, 5, C4, 5, 3, 2, 1, etc., etc. And this is how you make a data from data frame. It's like a table in database. So data frame to data set. This is the vector. And now you want to tell me the correlations. So if you are going to, you take the set and put it as input to the core correlation matrix, core data set, and put it in other variables. So you look here at the output. X and Y have perfect negative correlations. Why? Because if you look at X, it's increase. Y increase. Okay, so if you go X and Y, -1. X and Z have a perfect positive correlations. X and Z. X increase and Z increase. So this is something you should understand. And this you can do very, very easy. And what is core data set? So this is the core data set. Okay. Note that this is function core. The input of the data set must be a numeric matrix or data frame. It's very, very important because they are taking the parameter in Power BI when you have to change it to integers. So there'll be input to the core data set. Okay. And now it's very easy. Why? Because you will convert the true false column to an integer column where one represents true and zero represents false. Okay. So we go all over the parameter and copy the parameter and change him to integer. Okay. So this is the parameter. Okay. And after changing, you call it with you add the int to this column. Okay. You can see it here. So and we left the rename to column to int and change the data type of the to roll or number. Again, why? Because data frame correlated needs not to have as an input integer. Otherwise it will, and we click close and apply. That's it here. So we have damage hide int stack notice. Okay. So if you go here, go here, you can see it here. This is what I've created for R. R need integer. You can see it here. Integer. You can see it here. Change it. So this is a copy of another field with this stack engine 1. You can see it here. After I did it, okay, I will select the R-script visuals. Okay. Set the filter to predict damage with aircraft type airplane greater than 24. Add these fields. You can see it airplanes. And this is another filter, and you put it here. Now it's very, very easy because if you go to the code here, you write only this clause. Require core plot mean load core plot package. Library core plot mean upload it. And core dataset. This is a set which come from. This is that set which come from the Power BI. And this is the plot. And why it's it's very, very easy. If you look here, okay, here, go to the our visualizations. You can see here, very, very easy, the correlation between all the parameters. So again, what we did here, we copy all the parameters and change into integer here. We drag our visual here. We write this code, which means require copilot, library copilot, core dataset, and this function will give us the correlation between the variables. So it's go like this. This is strong bolts. This means strong correlation because it's between a variable and the same variable. So this has no meaning. But if you go here, we can see correlation between other variables. This correlation can be negative or positive according to the color of the ball. So you can see that what we have to, we did a filter on the airplane and the years. If you go here, close it here. You see, aircraft section is airplane, years, and this is all the fields which want to find the correlation. So it doesn't cost any money. It's very simple because the code is very simple and show you the correlation. So you can see it here. And you can do the same, and you can play with the slicer here to find more and more correlations. And after you did it, you can find, again, this is not Copilot, this you should find the feature and whether you will predict the damage, predict the size, and predict the age using this R graph. And you have to write it here. Okay. And if it will predict these variables, we will input as an input to the ML. Okay. Now we'll do the same with Python. So very, very fast. Okay. You go to Python Visual, drag it, go to speed, and now we'll create this code. This code is very simple. Import metabolite pilot plot. This means import the graphics of Python. Dataset plot histogram based on the speed. X label is speed, Y label is incident. So this is speed for incident damage. So you go here, you can see that we have this speed for incident damage, and incident damage is true. Speed is not black. And you can do another graph. Okay, you can copy the code, and let's show you here. Sorry. Okay, you can see that it's very, very simple. We build a plot for 8 for incident without damage, 8 for incident with damage, 8 for incident with damage, 8 for incident without damage. So let's look here. The code is very simple. You open me our studio, but I want to show the code. Sorry, you can see. Kind histogram, speed, incident, 8 for incident with damage. This is data, and this is show the graph. If you go here, you can see this is the code. So this is how I explore my feature without paying any something for our ML service. So after I did this, okay, I created 4 graphs, which is the 4 graphs. I want to prepare the data model for ML Power BI, choosing a feature by dataset exploration. So what we did here is use R and Python to explore the features, explore which feature will affect the ML service, and upload them to the ML service. So you can do it with Power BI tools, okay, and you can do it with Power BI tools, including Power Query, dataset flow, and ML to complete this vision, but you will not understand the materials. So it will be very fast. So you do it like this. So if you go here, you can see that in this stage, Power BI dataset, I will prepare the ML training dataset here. Okay. And the process will be all the time iterative process of discovery. I'll discover another feature, related to the mail service. So if you go here, okay. Sorry. If I go here, you can see ML queries, okay. And if you go to the ML queries and we go to predict damage, double click here. Double click here, you can see that I create ML queries. And here I added the feature which I found from the Python and R, which will affect which will affect whether there will be damage or low. For the predict size, it's same. Let's see, same. You can see it here. And for the predict 8. So you can see it here, because what I did here, I create ML queries. And we will add a new feature, the ML queries, as we discovered with Power BI, with R and Python. By the way, I can discover another feature using graphs, for example, which will affect, this is the other way. And after you do this, you are ready to upload your database, data model to the Azure AI. I recommend you some courses. Microsoft Azure AI Fundamentals, Analyze Data Using AI feature in Power BI, and Power Platform Foundation Introduction to Copilot Studio. Again, do me a favor. Do not go straight to this feature. You have to know your data. Because before you explore data with AI, with an LQ and a LQ advanced, it's fancy, it's fun, you have to know the data. You are responsible for your data. If you go to your data, if you leave data and go to this tools very, very fast, you will not be professionals. Okay. So this is how we handle, this is all the flow, how we take a raw data from worldwide fast reports and create it ready for the Azure ML. And that's all.
Yitzhak, it was super fast.
Yeah, because it's a lot of material.
It is.
But for our watchers, I will no problem to do. I have a link with all the presents and the demo, and try it yourself step by steps here.
Can I ask you to paste the link in the chat? And also there was a question.
Yeah, no problem.
People can get this kind of a scenario which you just presented.
I encourage you to come to my next lecture in Ireland about how to extend Power BI and R and Python. Again, I show you how you can use free and discover the feature. This is the basic things you have to know as Power BI analyst. Okay, I can check it. Chat. It's okay.
Thank you very much.
You can see that it's open and that it's okay, everybody. I think it's okay. And you can practice. You have all the folder with Power reports. And this is, by the way, summaries of a lot of books. AI cannot do it, but a lot of books. I encourage you to have read, but you can see it here.
Super.
This is how human mind can overcome AI, because they cannot summarize all this to this practical exercise.
True.
Okay.
Super. Thank you very much for your presentation. It was super exciting to see this, and it was kind of mind-blowing.